Once you've added all the necessary material and labor items to a condition on the condition detail window, it's crucial to understand how the different columns in the item detail grid function. Effective utilization of the item detail grid helps ensure you have the right amount of money in your bid to complete each condition in your project successfully. The first column on the left is the section assignment. The section code is part of the work breakdown structure QuickBid uses to organize and mark up your bids. The number displayed is part of the item's master record, but you can change it here if necessary. You can change a single item by simply typing a new section code in the field, or by selecting a new one using the magnifying glass. You can also change multiple lines at once. Hold the Control key on your keyboard and click on multiple lines to select them all. Once selected, right-click and select View Sections List from the context menu. The Divisions and Sections window displays, and you can choose a new section assignment for all currently selected lines. The next two fields are the item code and description. You can't change the description since it's tied to the item code, but you can replace the entire line if you select a different item code in the item field. Next up is the labor cost code. There's only a value in this field if the item is material and labor or labor only. You can change the cost code by typing a new code or by looking one up using the magnifying glass. Clicking in an empty field displays a magnifying glass, but you can't click it. You'll notice several yellow columns in the item detail grid. Yellow fields are considered variables and may often change to adjust how much material or labor you require to complete the condition. The first three variables are height, on-center spacing, and layers. If an item uses height in its calculation, the height of the condition displays in the height field. In most cases, you can just leave the height alone, but sometimes it's helpful to change it. Imagine you're painting the top and bottom portions of a wall, say above and below a chair rail, in two different colors. You can manually adjust the height of each paint line to match whatever height you need in that instance. Similarly, you can adjust the on-center spacing to match your needs as well. Suppose you usually space your studs at 16 inches on center. However, your client requests a particular wall be spaced at 24 inches on center instead. You can change the OC spacing field to 24 for this condition without having to change the master item setup. A layer is a multiplier and helps speed up the process of adding lines or reduces the number of lines needed. For instance, a track item that uses the same material for the top and bottom framing doesn't need two separate lines, just two layers. Or a drywall line that normally has two layers for each side of the wall can be changed to a single layer if you only need drywall on one side of an exterior wall, for example. Just adjust the layers field to match how many times QuickBid should multiply the total. The quantity and unit of measure fields are the results of all of your calculations. The quantity may also include additional waste. The amount of waste isn't visible on the condition detail window. However, it can be seen and edited on the Materials tab. In most cases, you shouldn't change the quantity directly, but it can be done if necessary or even required on Enter Direct Quantity items. Manually changing the quantity overrides any calculations and wipes out any variables. Manually entered quantities appear in blue. The size column allows you to choose a specific size or style based on the item size method. In addition, mixtures display a pink Mixture button in the size column. You can click the Mixture button to see the mixture setup. The next field is the first of many green fields. Green fields are cost values. The material cost and per fields are related to how much the material cost per a certain amount, such as $200 per 1,000 linear feet or 5 cents per square foot. If there's no entry in this field, the item is labor only. If you adjust the cost, you may receive a prompt asking if you'd like to update the master material cost. If you say yes, the cost on the current bid and in your database update. The update doesn't affect any of your existing bids, only new bids added after you make the change. If you select no, only the current bid updates. The next 7 columns are for adjusting labor. The green labor cost field and the yellow production rate variables are part of a formula. Adjusting one field results in changes in the others. The labor cost displays the base unit cost for the line based on 3 different things: the wage type in the adjacent field, the crew setup, and the production rate. For example, the labor cost for the drywall line is 24 cents per square foot. Why? Well, first, let's look at the crew. The crew is a single hanger. Okay, now let's see how much that hanger makes for the wage type we're using. We're using the union wage type, and that pays $30 an hour. Finally, let's look at the production rate, which has a base rate of 125 square feet per hour. Dividing $30 an hour by 125 results in, you guessed it, 24 cents. The percent base field displays a percentage based on the production rate. While at 100%, the rate indicates the default value set up on the labor cost tab in the item's master record. You can see that rate displayed in various other ways, such as quantity and pieces per hour and total hours. In addition, if you click the column heading, you can see the production rate in days if you prefer. There are a variety of ways you can adjust your labor cost. One way is to change the wage type. Each wage type may have a different hourly rate, which changes the unit cost. You could also add more people to the crew, which increases the overall hourly rate. You can also adjust the production rate fields. Imagine you need to bring your costs down, and you think it's reasonable that your hanger can work a little faster. So you decide to change the percent base field to 120%. Making this change increases the quantity per hour and decreases the labor cost. However, be mindful that you're making decisions based on the capabilities of real people. Don't speed your production up so much that your crew can't achieve the rate in the real world just to get your costs down. Otherwise, you'll end up busting your budget anyway. Of course, you can also change the labor cost field directly. Doing so causes the percent base and all the production rate fields to change accordingly. Remember, they're all tied together as part of a single formula. Keep in mind that any changes you make only impact the current condition. If you'd like to make the change permanently, you must change the Labor Cost tab in the item's master record. The last three green fields are the cost totals for material, labor, and the entire line. You can manually override the material total and labor total fields by typing over them. And just like before, QuickBid automatically adjusts the material cost and the labor information accordingly. Now let's look at the section totals at the top of the window. Remember how every line in the condition has a section assignment? Well, the unit prices and total for each section appear at the top. It's important to distinguish that the section totals at the top are the selling price. In contrast, the values in the item detail grid at the bottom are costs. You can see how QuickBid arrived at the totals by clicking the View Markup button. The View Markup window allows you to switch between all the different sections in your condition. The table displays the section costs marked up by escalation, tax, burden, overhead, and profit, just like on the Markups tab. In addition, section totals display unit prices based on the unit of measure of quantity 1. You can change the unit price in the Totals View menu if you'd rather see the unit price based on a different unit. This change doesn't affect the actual cost or selling price of the condition.